He's known around town as the Fishing Kid, riding his bike with his fishing poles in search of St. Croix's biggest and most secret fish.
I think I got a smallie.
Follow his bike. He'll lead you right to the next hot spot.
Squeeze the trigger.
And Laura Shera is taking up a sport that's enjoying a surge in popularity. Ever wanted to learn archery? Well, how to get started is coming up.
Woo! Bullseye. Now is when we want to add the walleye.
And it's time to go wild in the kitchen. How about a new way to try with our state fish, the walleye? And our Minnesota Bound Classic this week is a personal favorite of mine, the time I shared a boat with a fella named Steve. A true angler and a true inspiration. Those stories and more next.
Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota Select GMC dealers.
Hi everybody, Raven and I welcome you to the show. You know, over the years we've featured lots of anglers on Minnesota Bound, but every once in a while you run into one whose passion for fishing is just beyond description. Travis Frank has the story.
He pedals down the streets of Taylor's Falls, Minnesota, his backpack full of fishing gear, his rod and reel secure in his right hand. In this town, they call Baily Teporten the Fishing Kid. One with a knack for exploring. Today I get a look at some of his best-kept fishing secrets.
Is this the money spot? This is one of them. One of them? One of many.
In moments, I understand why his name has stuck.
I think I got a smallie. Little one. Well, I'm thinking all the bait fish are kind of moving in.
On this stretch of the St. Croix River, Baily feels at home. After all, he casts here more than 300 days a year.
If I counted this past year, I fished every day last summer besides 2 days. I go after work, before work, after school, before school.
He calls it a disease.
Obsessive compulsive fishing disorder.
His only cure, swim somewhere out there.
So water's pretty high right now, but there's a lot of underwater structure that you don't see that I like to fish. The river's something you really gotta learn. It's not something that just comes natural. You gotta put your hours in.
And Baily has, since the age of 12, when he finally earned his dad's blessing to bike here alone.
It was conflicted. On the one hand, he was a little young to be riding around. There's highway around here, and we were a little worried about his safety. On the other hand, he wanted to fish so often that we couldn't possibly accommodate. For him, it's the big fish. If it's in the river, he fishes for it.
And he's not afraid to get wet trying.
He's not familiar with the word inaccessible.
Oh, nice! Turns out, Baily's fishing drive has taught him some of life's greatest lessons.
If he wanted to be able to buy the musky baits he wanted, when he wanted, he was going to have some money in his pocket. So because he likes to fish so much, he's had a job since he was about 13. He saves his money, he works hard, and he uses his money to fish more.
You can see it's gotten its use. That's my picture taker. It's not a phone yet. Carry seeds.
Every good fisherman needs sunflower seeds.
I always carry a regulation book. It's a little jumbled in here. These things I always pick up. I don't want a duck or something around its neck.
It's really helped him in a lot of ways beyond just the fishing.
But let's be clear here. Fishing is still number one. Casting in a postcard-worthy setting, the fish have won Baily's full attention.
In the summertime, he's back and forth day after day after day. Oh, there's the kid, there's the fishing kid on the bike.
People would see me around town, random people would wave to me, say hi. I get tourists asking what I'm catching. Fishing's kind of my thing.
So is catching. Oh, you got one, you got one. Oh, nice.
Stay out of that tree.
Look at that. Good job.
Every time I don't pay attention.
And when the catching is all done, Baily pedals down the streets of Taylor's Falls once again. Wet shoes, backpack filled with fishing gear, and his rod and reel held tightly in his right hand.
Right into that D-loop right there.
Coming up, grab your bow and arrow. Want to learn how to hit the bullseye? It might be easier than it looks.
Woo, that's
There
almost
we
there.
go.
Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota Select GMC Dealers. Kingtail Gator. Borderview Lodge. Jesse Treble's Safe Basements of Minnesota. And by Evinrude, the official outboard motor of Minnesota Bound.
Time now for our Getting Started segment. The subject, archery. The student, Laura Shera.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
I am good. I am looking to get started in some archery.
Well, excellent. You came to the right place. First of all, we need to get some measurements and get you fitted for proper equipment. What is it that you plan on doing with it?
Well, I think I'll probably start off with just some target practice, but then eventually I want to use my bow for hunting.
Perfect. Well, let's start off. Let's get a couple of measurements.
Okay.
First and most important, we need to test your eye dominance.
All right.
Okay, very simple test here. What we're gonna do is you're gonna hold this card out like this. You're gonna bring it up, find my nose through the hole in the card, and then slowly bring it back to your face, keeping my nose in focus. This tells us which way you're gonna shoot. Perfect. You brought it back to your right eye, meaning your right eye dominant. Are you right-handed?
Yes, I am.
All right, so that means that your eye dominance matches your dominant hand, so we don't have any issues in there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna measure your wingspan. That's
Okay.
gonna tell us what your draw length is so we can fit you to the bow. Why don't
All
you
right.
follow me? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna measure your draw length.
Okay.
In order to do that, we're gonna put your fingers against the ledge right here, shoulders nice and level, back against the wall. This is gonna show us what your wingspan is, and then we can determine what your draw length is gonna be.
All right. It's time for the wingspan.
So this here is showing us that your draw length is 26.5 inches, which is your wingspan divided by 2.5. So now that we got your measurements, we can get you fitted to a specific bow. So here we have our entry-level equipment, and then we have some more advanced equipment that all kind of depends on A, what fits you, and B, what you're using it for.
All right, Joe, I like a little speed in my shot, so I think I want to try the Bowtech. Do you think that'll fit me okay?
Absolutely, that'll fit you just fine. Let's get it fitted. So we're gonna check the draw weight on this bow. So the draw length should be really close. What I want you to do is hook, yep, right into that D-loop right there. Can you see these pins right here through the peep clearly?
Yep. Yes, I can.
Perfect.
We want bullseyes. This is like a little crab claw.
That is a release, not a crab claw.
I'm sure it looks kind of like a crab claw to me.
All right, so we're gonna slide our left hand through the wrist sling like that. Move your hand all the way up to the heel. You wanna make sure that your hand is comfortably behind the bow, not off to the side. We're gonna take our arrow, we're gonna load it. We're gonna put it in the rest, arrow rest, just like that. You're gonna knock it to the string, right in the middle of your D-loop. So your release or your crab claw thingy goes right here. You're ready to shoot the arrow. You're gonna connect your release right there to that, right there to the D-loop. Yep, just like that. Remember your safety, finger behind the trigger. You're gonna extend that arm. Now you're gonna focus through your peep. You're gonna look down here. You're gonna find the top pin. You're gonna put the top pin right on the center of the bullseye.
Where'd I go? Oh, way off.
It's
Hello.
It's okay, we gotta adjust it. All right, let's try one more. We adjusted the sight a little bit. Let's give it another try. There you go. Squeeze the trigger.
Woo, that's
There
almost
we
better.
go.
Nice.
We're right there.
Yes.
One more little adjustment and we'll get bullseyes.
Woo.
Bullseye.
Oh, did I get it?
Yes, bullseye.
Excellent. Yes. Bullseye!
Bullseye, good job.
Thank you, so much fun. And if you too want to try this modern day version of this ancient sport, stop by Average Joe's Archery and they'll get you started. This is how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. Bullseye. Golden hash browns.
Trying to decide how to cook up that walleye? Laura Shera has the answer.
Amazing.
Closed captioning from Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut.
Time now to go wild in the kitchen, and today Laura Shera and Chef Jim have found another way to prepare walleye.
Well, summer season is almost upon us. You know what that means. A lot of us are camping in the summertime.
Yep.
And what do we like to do around the campfire?
We like to eat around the campfire.
Yes, we do. Well, I'm here with Chef Jim Kinberg from Firelight Grill House and Cocktail Bar. And Chef Jim, I understand we are making walleye for breakfast today?
We're going to actually be doing a walleye hash. This is a dish right off of Firelake's menu, but I'm going to show you an inspired version for the campfire.
Let's get started.
All right.
What are the first steps?
First steps, we got to cook the potatoes. Those are going to take the longest, so we want to preheat that cast iron pan, medium-high heat. We're going to put a little clarified butter down there, make them taste good, keep them from sticking, get them nice and golden brown.
Okay. And how long do these cook?
Those are going to take the longest, and that's probably about 7 minutes. We want them nice and golden brown, and we also want to add a little bit of onion and pepper at this stage. And just kind of mix that right in there like so. And just keep them over that nice medium heat, let them do their thing.
So I can see the potatoes are starting to brown a little bit.
Yes, just look right around the edge, you can see they're starting to brown. Now is when we want to add the walleye.
Okay.
So if you want to grab the walleye for me.
Yes, and hopefully if we're camping, we're catching fresh caught walleye, right?
Exactly.
Just lay these on there?
Yeah, season this with just a little bit of garlic salt and fresh dill. And if you want to just lay those right on top of the potatoes.
Excellent.
I'm going to show you a little trick. So this is actually the pan we're going to be cooking our eggs in, but we're also going to use this as a lid. So what that's going to do is kind of steam the fish in there as we're browning the potatoes.
Oh, that's great.
All right, I think we should be ready to flip.
Ooh,
there we go.
Look at that.
So our fish is pretty much steamed at this point, and now it's hashed. So we're just going to kind of mash it all up, continue to brown the other side of those potatoes. Now we're ready for the eggs.
Ready for the eggs. All right, Jim, you grab the eggs. I'm going to grab the good stuff, the cheese.
The cheese.
And
grab
the scallions.
Cheese. You got it.
All right.
All right. And here goes the eggs.
Scrambled eggs.
All right, we want to keep those from browning, keep them nice and fluffy. This is when I like to add that cheese. We got that great onion jack cheese.
All right, right on top?
Right on top, and I'm just going to fold it in.
Okay.
And then those scallions, you can put those right in there as well.
We have some golden hash browns.
Breakfast is served.
Yes.
So we're just going to kind of spoon those eggs. Look at that cheese rolling out.
Amazing.
Right there. Here we go.
This is perfect because if you're around the campfire, who wants to get dishes dirty and clean those, right?
Exactly.
Just eat right out of the
Eat
pan.
right out of the pan.
All right, Jim, I'm going in for a bite.
Go for it.
Of course, I have to find the walleye.
There you go. Might be a little hot. What do you think?
That is very good.
Excellent.
I think the moral of the story is, doesn't matter if it's breakfast or dinner, walleye for breakfast is always a good idea and wildly delicious. So good.
Thank you.
Next up, our Minnesota Bound Classic is a favorite of mine. It was a great fishing day with an unforgettable fishing partner.
Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Running Aces Casino and Racetrack, Tracker Boats, and by Totem Resorts.
Time now for our Minnesota Bound Classic, and it's one of the most inspiring stories I've ever done. It's about a fisherman who showed us that if you really want to fish, you can do it. When Steve Larson goes fishing, he needs not a helping hand. His feet are his hands. His feet steer the outboard and scoop the minnows. His feet even bait his hook.
This was the crown achievement of my fishing. Being able to pick up a small crappie minnow without crushing it. And there you go.
And that's just the start of this fishing story. It also wouldn't be stretching the truth to say Steve Larson is an extraordinary fishing partner.
I was born without arms, congenital, birth defect. There was really no known reason for it. I just naturally adapted to the use of my feet. Thank goodness I had parents and older brothers and grandparents that loved me for who I was and didn't think it was unclean to use my feet or anything like that. So just naturally, it's just a natural process.
Beyond his missing arms, Steve is exactly what he wants to be, an ordinary guy.
I have a family, I have children, I have a great career, I've got this beautiful place here, and we're able to contribute meaningfully to our communities.
A father of 3, he lives with wife Julie Jo in a country home near Sturgeon Lake, Minnesota.
I take for granted what he does. Sometimes we'll go bowling or golfing or something and I'll forget. And, you know, he'll say, "Hon, can I have my ball, please?" Or, "Can you get that for me," or something.
This is how I usually shake hands.
No, after the first 20 minutes, he's just Steve.
Pretty solid here, I mean.
Oh yeah, I'm very, very strong.
You're lucky you're not ticklish.
Oh, I am.
Are you?
And I'm right-footed. Just as you would have a dominant hand, yeah, I have a dominant foot.
A foot with very talented toes.
I can cook. I can wash the dishes, unfortunately. I changed all 3 of my children's diapers, another skill I did not want to learn, but my wife didn't give me any choice. So, you know, a number of things I can't do, but in terms of my independence, being able to drive a car, being able to write, being able to type, operate a computer, all of those things, I'm able to do them. It's a lot of getting adapted to an environment which caters to people with hands. So for me, it's a lot of standing on one foot, and I could probably stand on one foot like this for hours, doing thing with one foot.
Steve also has an office in Duluth where he works for Minnesota's Department of Rehabilitation Services, helping the disabled find work.
I knew a long time ago what my calling was, and to get into the field of psychology, to get into counseling, and to help other people with disabilities learn that they are capable, that they have a lot of abilities, a lot of strengths.
Yet it's in a fishing boat where Steve still tests his limits.
You know, the ability to learn to put a crappie minnow on a small 1/32 ounce jig head with your feet is still a struggle tying those lines. And you know, ability to catch muskie and to catch lake trout and crappie and grayling and all the fish that I've caught, it's just pretty proud of that. I'm gonna go out a little bit here.
Time to move?
Yeah, we're getting a little shallow.
An avid angler, Steve's feet seem to dance in the boat, especially when something's on the end of the line.
Any size?
Little bass. There's a big bluegill.
The bluegill.
Nice one. Yeah, there we go.
Nice fish, yes, but watching him cast and reel, you learn another angling lesson. You come to realize it's not the catching that only counts. It's just being on the water. Fishing. Fishing with an inspiration you'll never forget.
Still ranks as one of my most amazing days on the water. Well, that about does it for us. Remember, introduce a kid to the great outdoors. I'm Ron Sharon. Of course, always the star of the show, who's a little antsy right now, is Raven.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800 899-7433. For more information on these stories and more, catch us on the web at mnbound.com.